So a real quick video, as they say, keep it simple, stupid. And I decided to drill a hole, and you see I put these Allen head bolts so they really don't interfere with the bolts, screwing in on top. And I made this, I grinded that a little bit because I just found out that this angle is pretty straight. And then I put a 7/16 bolt in here. I welded a nut here just to make it easier because the joint is going to be here. So if it ever had to be taken apart, one bolt right here would get this independent of that, but the whole thing could come out now all together either way, and then you just have to unbolt the the joint. But I put this one here with a I made an oblong hole, so this adjustment, in case this is not the final resting place of this whole thing, but I don't think that's going anywhere. Like I said, I could have just left it alone and welded it, but I'm not into that. I want to be able to get to it. I also want, God forbid, if this motor, it's a used motor, God forbid if it goes bad, you can just get it right out of another car, the same car, and it'll bolt right in, other than just cutting this guy at a certain spot, which you could probably reuse this part to put it on, change over the sensor so you don't have to cut it even. But for the most part, it doesn't have to go anywhere. I would have liked this to have been bolted into the car separately. That way this could stay still and this can be just removed. But I just think that this is going to end up being the easiest way. And there's not a lot of places to put it without, like these zigzag angles and everything. This made the most sense. You're probably not going to see that. And it'll still leave me open to do my idea. Like I said, I'm going to have some kind of articulating thing where this can actually be a stop now for whatever I do. Because they're going to have the linkage bracket go, it's got to articulate that much, So it's going to go around here and go around this. I could actually hack this guy off here if I really had to, if it got in the way. Might be a good idea to do it anyway. So, and then the rod in the center, that's another thing that I have to put on the inside to make it transfer the power. This would be kind of cool just to be this big, and I probably could just do it that big. It probably will work. Gets a little close here, but this could be rotated to the other side. All depends. This leaves it so you don't see it as much. The other side would leave it so you see more wires at the bottom, and the clutch pedal is kind of right there. So kind of don't want to do that either. So it's best because there's really nothing going on up here. You can just make something that, I figure this is like an old alternator bracket. It's very heavy, but I want to, obviously this has got to be done, perfectly, because if I can find what I'm looking for, this is the rod that's inside the rod that I have to cut. Obviously this I got to cut too, and this is adjustable, and that goes into the linkage piece here. Forgot exactly how it goes, but I'm pretty sure there's a little inside the shift handle. I think there's something that pushes that, or you pull it and then it it moves it in and out. And they have these rubber things that it helps align itself inside. Maybe I can get a couple of more of those things so I have two on each side. Oh, it's in the car. I was playing with it. Forgive the mess. Okay. So basically, this guy here, you can see this is in the front here, but it's got to get cut. But this is, you see, it's there's a keyway on this, and it's got to be right. It's keyway and then it's threaded. So it's something where before I cut it, I may want to actually drill out these holes, try to put it in the right place, and hopefully I have room for that kind of measurement. But ultimately, if I can get this around here, drill a hole out bigger here so this slides over, and once I slide both sides over and I know it's in the right place, and then I attach the top here to each side, something along those lines where I'm taking a section out. If I take the section out and I put a piece right there, weld it, and then I weld it to the shaft and then cut this has to be in the exact same place then. So that's probably the way I'm going to do it, just to be on the safe side. It's just a question of exactly where do I cut it, you know. Probably be good if I made this somewhat adjustable, and then afterwards I'll get to doing something with the rod, which would have to be a similar thing. It'd have to come out further than this, and then come to here, and then push, and then whatever it's on this side, it's pushing, and it's got to stick out. It's got to be able to stick out of the here. It doesn't need to stick out as much, but going back in, obviously, it has to. It can't hit this, you know. It's got to be so there's enough room to articulate inside to push that to the other side. But that's ultimately how I think I have to do it. I have to make something, wrap it around, and it may be easier just to get like a piece of steel here, drill a hole through it with a step bit, slide it over the shaft in 2 places, make my bridge, and then I'm done, you know. I might go to a sheet metal guy, because it doesn't really need to be this thick, you know. He said he can bend 14 gauge steel, which is a little over 1/16 of an inch, which I guess it's like this. And if you bend this into a, you know, 4 inches up and over, and then make another one on the inside, it's probably going to be pretty strong. So I'll see. I don't think it's too much of an issue. At least the outside part, it probably, because then originally what I was thinking is cutting out the section and then using this section for the top part, but it's probably not best because of where I'm going to have it, unless I temporarily weld something and somehow able to weld the other one. But it really doesn't matter what goes on top, as long as it takes up the exact same amount of space. So I think that's pretty solid. I'm still going to put a rubber Huya over here. Basically, all I did was buy an 1 3/4 rubber wire loom thing. You know, those little things you put one zippy screw in to hold like a brake line or something like that. They have them really big too. So I figured I would do that with a nut and bolt, and that way it'll hold it like that. But honestly, this is not going anywhere. And like I said, I would rather have it separately mounted. But, you know, I could do it either way now. You know, I could leave it in the car, and it'll kind of dangle if I had to ever service it. But it's looking like this is the way to go, just to service it in one shot. You know, because ultimately I would have liked to, like I said, have it serviced on the car somewhere where it stays in this position. But in a certain sense, if I don't do this right, then there's pressure on the U-joint, and well, obviously I got to get this in, you know. So it's like ultimately it's got to make sure it stays in this position, or it's going to be there's going to be trouble. So the flex on here it's okay actually, you know, in case that was slightly off, and when all is said and done, because the shaft is going to come out into the car and it's going to be fixed, you know, and having the joint in between, it's going to pretty much take care of it, you know. And the only other thing is I got to figure out, because I don't know if I have it here, is the on-center notch for the steering wheel. That's got to be obviously in the right place. But all these setups, you know, between moving a notch over here, or really, you know, it doesn't matter where you put these things. You know, obviously it matters on this side, but not this side. I could put it in any position pretty much. It's not destined for one spot. So no matter what, I can get it right one way or the other. Obviously, I guess it's something that might take a little bit of trial and error, but that's all right. Not a big deal, you know. So looking good. I'm pretty happy. And what else? I don't know about painting. I'm really not done with this car, and nowhere near. It's like I said, it's a movie car. It's going to be a movie car, and I'm not going to really dwell on how it looks too much, but I will clean it up eventually. But this is just like a million different things, $1 million different dollars, and I just got to get it running first, and then I'll worry about all the small stuff, you know. But thanks for watching, and I will give more updates as I get them. And what else? Yeah, like I said, I'm leaving this guy out, putting a rubber. I've been going to Granger. They have like I said, it was a 3/8 to like 10 millimeter rubber plug, like an oil drain plug. So I'm going to put it in there and tighten it, because there's steering boxes in the same years, whether they're from Cadillacs or other things, and they don't have that. I don't know why mine does, but it basically just seems like some kind of an electrical contact that it makes, and it doesn't make sense because you have the original horn that looks just like this that was on top of here, and I think I was showing it yesterday. Got this spring that was there, and it was after I made the thing. I found them. Of course, a lot of things got moved around, and I was drilling. Oh yeah, so this guy here, there's two of these. He's somewhere. Well, in any case, that spring goes inside here, and then there's one on either side of this, and I'll be damned if that don't look like an electrical contact of some sort, and then it rubs on there. But it's all grounded anyway, so I don't quite know what it does. I don't know if it was just building resistance or giving it a feel of the on-center mesh, but there really isn't much on-center mesh, so I think that's just a feel that helps you feel that it is. I don't really know, to be honest. And it's seemingly not so important, so I hope, like I said, I would have rather have not cut this out, because I cut it out because I wanted to put a bolt through there, and I didn't want to put it through that, because in the back of my mind, originally I was thinking about taking that off, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, I got a whole different setup here, so I kind of jumped the gun when I did that. But, I'm just going to put something over it. I can fucking put tape, I could care less. But, be more creative if you do it yourself. I'm creative, but I'm just not really into finishing this, because, yeah, there's so many other things wrong with the car, but I hope for it to run, stop, and drive. And here's the other guy. So basically, got this guy. He goes in there. Sorry, I only got one hand. Oh. Okay, so I just dumped the spring in. Okay. So I don't know what the deal is, but you can see they both stick out. And it's spring loaded. And I don't know what this really represents. I don't know if it's just spring tension, because there's a spring over there as well that goes against the, the bracket, pushes up against there. Don't know. And truthfully, I don't think it really matters. This was another piece that was on this bracket. This just attached to the chassis, and it went to one of these bolts. I think this lower bolt. So I'll probably put that on, because it's support, But it was all in conjunction with this whole thing here. And then in the end, if I leave all this stuff off and just put the shaft in, it's going to stick out quite a bit. So, a few questions that, it ends up being that, it's before my time, and I have less and less patience, because I got a million cars that I have to fix. I got two in here that I don't want to fix either one of them after I've taken them apart. So hopefully, things are going smoother once I get this guy done and get this project over with, and then I could, put that radiator in, which is a Chevy radiator that I adapted, but I want to make it so the grill can come in and out, so I can access things. I got AC for the car. I'm trying to make a bracket. You see, I was playing with that at one time, and I got that guy. I got my dual master, a whole bunch of wiring redos, because I use these, the ignition switch, even the universal ones, they're maybe 30 amp at best, and I don't even think it was that. It may have only been 15 amps. So what happens is this is, like 4-gauge wire I got coming off here, and so this is going to turn on when you put the key on, and then it allows, everything is run off of this. So that's something I like doing, and I'm pretty proud of. Man, those horns are loud when it's 12 volts, but I got to redo the headlight wiring. I got a busted fucking directional. I already had upgraded the oiling to this kind of style spin-on filter, so I don't have to bother. Changed the carburetor, adjusted the rock rooms, did a bunch of stuff, but everything is so intertwined, and it's just it's a pain in the neck. But you know, if this was the only car I owned, it would probably be fun. But it's not. I got like 10 cars, and I'm always doing something to something, or I got cars that are sitting for years that are registered and insured that I just haven't got to yet, and because of local ordinances, you got to keep it registered. But you know, it's all good. Hopefully, this will start looking like a car, and you can test drive it one day. But having electric steering, 12 volts, disc brakes, a dual master, and the air conditioning, I think is going to be pretty cool. Ultimately, I would love to have an automatic in it instead, but I guess I can get a 50s transmission, you know, because the engine is a 50 to 53, and you know, they had automatics in the 50s, so something I'm thinking about. And I think it's I don't know, was it a center console? I can't remember. I got to ask my friend what his car is. But, you know, in a certain sense, I'm like, do I eliminate this whole rod here? Because then I could technically eliminate it. You know, it'll just be here for show. Or I could just use it. Maybe it'll be able to be used as a shifter, and I use it the same way instead of trying to put one on the center, you know, or put 50s parts in a 40s car. I kind of don't want to do that, but as far as you know, how it looks on the inside. So, oh well. Wish me luck, and I'll make another video when I get further.